Stage 14 of the Oromiliash Dakar, from Tambacounda to Dakar. Nervous times ahead. Cyril Desprez took the lead of the bike category yesterday with one real stage remaining. Could he hold it? And with Mitsubishi in a position to win, could Stefan Peter Hansel avoid the jinx? The stage from Kay in Mali to Tambacounda finally brought the crews into Senegal, and with the crossing of the border, the feeling perhaps that Dakar was almost within reach, but almost is never quite close enough. Here we see Antoine and Alain Morel, the two quads, and it's a family affair, desperate to get themselves both to Dakar. Alain Morel said, I stopped because I hit a tree stump and it broke the rear wheel. There was so much pressure power from the engine, it broke the axle and the chain. My dad towed me for 80 kilometers like that. We weren't very fast, but we made it here. Alain's just 20. I expect these things to happen, but when you're his age, I guess you don't. And they made it not only into Senegal, but to Tambacounda and to repairs. I think perhaps it may have taken Antoine the rest of the night to stop seeing double. Well, here the pace and the nature of life, very different from out in the wilderness in Mauritania. It's a populated area, quite heavily so, and we're now certainly clear of the desert. This is Swedish lady rider Annie Seal. Certainly plenty to go around. And everybody keeping strictly to the speed limits. Here's the Mercedes of Jean-Pascal Besson and Yves Kornstein. Finding an unexpected hazard. The big bang as they run wide on a corner and straight into a tree stump in the dust. It rips the left front corner off the car. There's nothing they can do to repair it at the roadside. I hope that the service truck's got all the bits we need. We broke the wishbone, and there's quite a lot of damage there, he says. Well, the locals equally powerless to help. They have to wait for the service crew to arrive, their only hope of making Dakar. Okay, that's what you need. We'll get on with it. Is the disc broken or not? They assess the damage, make repairs, and finally the car gets underway. Stage 14 from Tambacounda finally takes the competitors into the heart of Dakar. But that is after the end of today's competition, and this is no time to lose concentration. The terrain as hazardous as ever. Their minds must be fully on the job. So Saturday morning in Senegal, from Tambacounda, the ride that leads to Dakar. The last fully competitive stage, the last with any distance. Smiles, relaxed, but also a few nerves, because still anything can happen. So what's the plan? Cyril Beaupré says, well, today my tactic is going to be to ride pretty quickly. We're used to reading the road book while we ride fast, and you need the speed really to make you feel comfortable. If there's no speed, then you get lost. You don't know what you're doing. Either you watch the track too much or the road book too much. So I'm just going to try and ride normally and enjoy the stage. And what everybody prayed for last night is to have a trouble-free morning. But David Castor has had exactly the opposite. He said, somehow, I don't know, I've broken a feed for fuel. He said, I stopped and went to have a leak, and then I came back and I saw the bike was having a leak as well. There's a bit of tension this morning. So Beaupré and Castor safely onto the stage. But is it going to be a nightmare ending for the man who lies in second position? He's clearly got a problem. Castor's chances of winning were robbed of him midway through Mauritania with another long stage with mechanical woes. Finally he gets moving again, but he'll stop a further few times during the stage with the same recurring problem. He'll lose 10 minutes overall, but still lies second as they arrive in Dakar. It's a big day then for Jean de Azevedo. He wins his second career Dakar stage, his first in 2007. He lies way down the order after earlier problems, but again the Brazilian has shown the speed is there when he can run cleanly. And to be the stage winner coming into Dakar is certainly something to remember. And a day to remember for the pole as well. Yashik Chakor, second on the stage, just 2 minutes and 5 behind the winner. The best ever result for a Polish rider in Dakar history, trumping his third place yesterday. He lies in 10th position overall, another big step for him. And Yanis Winters, after his stage win in Mauritania, yet another good result despite getting lost. He and Thierry Bettis were trying to ride together, and the two of them not only parted company but also lost control of their navigation. Eventually they found not only the correct piste but each other. And as in any incident between competitors, there's two sides to the story. See Bettis arrive. It's all your fault, they say in unison. So the Honda rider had more problems than that now. He dropped 22 minutes in the stage, but he's still in 8th place overall coming into Dakar. Fourth on today's stage, he moved 5 minutes closer to second place David Castor after the Frenchman had worries. But American Chris Blaze will be delighted to finish anywhere on the podium. He lies in 3rd spot, heading into the Senegalese capital. 7th on today's stage, Paulo Gonçalves from Portugal, continuing to improve by the day. In the past week, he's become a top 10 regular. Restaurateur from Ajaccio, Michel Marchini, will have plenty of good memories as well as souvenirs to take back to Corsica from this year's Dakar. 8th today, he's 7th overall. Palander's Oliver Zetas had some tough breaks on this year's event, but he still lies in 4th position as they roll into Dakar. It was a relaxed 9th on today's stage, certainly following Cyril Beaupré's idea of enjoying the run into the capital. But he has an hour in hand over 5th place Helder Rodriguez, so there was really no need to take chances. We've seen one Latvian. This is his brother, Ainars Vintas. Yesterday he was 10th on the stage. Today he repeated that feat. Can't be very often that a pair of brothers have been in the top 10 on 2 consecutive days. And surely the two Latvians have set a new record. But today's leader coming into the capital, Cyril Desprez. 5th on the stage, 7 minutes behind the winner. That really doesn't matter. He heads into Dakar as the rally leader and probable winner. Just 16 kilometres around the shores of Lac Rose remain to be completed before establishing the victory. The feeling of relief in the Gauloise KTM camp was palpable. The Dakar caravan's in mourning today after the death from a suspected heart attack of one of the riders on the stage. Helder Rodrigues, the Portuguese, won in Portugal, and he looked as though he's had the chance to upset a few more with another win in Africa. Jaroslav Kacinak finished 19th on the stage today, but he lies in 9th position overall. On board with Eric Croquelet, saying it's going to be a tough day. Going to try and follow the others in the dust. So going to have to pay attention. It's my last Dakar. Apparently his mother believes that he's having fun. Well, just occasionally it looks like it as well. While most were relieved to reach Dakar, there was a note of sadness today. Eric Abidjou, the Frenchman, 42 years old, finished the stage, but on the liaison section, just 15 kilometres out of Dakar, he stopped, and it's suspected that a fatal heart attack was the cause of his death. He was on his 5th unsupported Dakar. Confirmation then, João de Azevedo wins his first stage in 2007 from Chacor, and Vintas, a distinct Eastern European look to the top 3. And Cyril Desprez leads by over half an hour from David Castor. Only mechanical woes can intervene now.
Mitsubishi Motors.
In September 2002, ASO to explore Africa as well as race through it. Every little effort is much appreciated. ...2005, Stefan Peter-Hansel heading towards Dakar as the rally leader. And then it all went wrong. What was he thinking this morning as he chatted with his Volkswagen rivals? It was certainly to be a day of potential nerves, but for some, there was no pressure. Robbie Gordon checking out the cockpit of the Schlesser buggy. Very different from the Hummer. And a chance for the locals again to enjoy the annual spectacle that is the Dakar Rally. So what about Stefan Peter-Hansel then? Nerves? Well, no. There was a very sensible plan underway, and that was to take absolutely no risk whatsoever. Belt and braces, the approach. Somebody coming from behind? Let him go. It's a Volkswagen. And another one. A little wave of thanks from the co-driver's seat. But it wasn't a day without incident. Peter-Hansel 11th on the stage. Lost more time perhaps than he might have wanted to give away. Navigation was not easy on today's 14th stage. The penultimate day of the Dakar did have him wandering around a little in the trees and through the villages. Was history going to repeat itself? He could afford to lose some time, but not too much. In the end, the piste was found and the drama was quickly over, but it was not a day for panic. Luc Alphon chasing him, second overall and 7th on today's stage. Just a little more pace, perhaps a few less navigational jitters, but Alphon perhaps, as last year, resigned to the fact that only divine intervention is going to rob Peter-Hansel in 2007. Well, the Sentinel wouldn't have worked on the donkey carts, but Carlos Sainz didn't encounter too many on his way through the stage. Again, fastest, his 9th Dakar career stage win, his 5th this season. And barring mechanical woes, what might Volkswagen have been thinking today as they headed into Dakar? Janil de Villiers, last year's runner-up in the overall standings, he was 2nd on today's stage, and Carlos Souza made it a Touareg 1, 2, 3. They certainly showed that again they have had the pace to challenge the Mitsubishis on almost every stage. What they haven't had is the good luck. 4th position, a stage winner on this year's event, a real landmark in his career, Nasser Al Attiyah, and it was a big year as well for the BMW X-Raids team. 5th today, Robbie Gordon. He's had some lows, but he's had some highs. Another stage winner. And he'll come back next year better prepared and ready to try and take the win from Mitsubishi. Indeed, with every passing year, not only do the crowds get bigger and better controlled, but the pressure on Mitsubishi as the benchmark in the competition increases. Mark Miller, 6th fastest today for Volkswagen, still lies overall as the best race Touareg. And he will finish comfortably in the top 5 at the end of tomorrow's stage, God willing. Jutta Kleinschmidt said before the start of the event in Lisbon 2 weeks ago that she just hoped for a little good luck. Maybe she should have written her letter to Santa Claus a touch earlier. Good luck's the one thing she hasn't had. Pace aplenty and determination. But for these sports fans, just seeing the cars out on the stage was enough for this week. Jean-Louis Schlesser, another stage win this year. Today, just a little too tight, too twisty, too dusty for the Schlesser Raid buggy to really make its mark. And the reason he was 9th instead of in the top 3, a puncture. A rarity on these roads, but annoying nonetheless. And rounding out the top 10, the Portuguese. Barbosa having another great run in his prototype pickup. And with more learning under his belt, he could well be a front runner in 2008. It was a high-speed and dusty day on the stages for the fans and for the crews alike. But in the end, no mechanical woes, no intervention. Everything went according to plan. And the navigation, not only important for keeping on the right track, but also for keeping on the right side of the safety line. Counting down to the radar area, this crew getting their speed right down to 30 kilometers an hour through the village. And although the human kids were well controlled, the animal ones perhaps weren't quite so interested in the cars. But even here on the run into Dakar, somebody is going to have a problem somewhere. No major damage done. Leading the T2 class as they head towards the Senegalese capital, Yun Mitsutashi, the Japanese, and his rookie co-driver having an excellent run through Africa. But not everybody found it smooth sailing today. Pick a route, any route. There are loads. The Bowler and the Peterson White Lightning buggy choose separate paths. Confirmation then, a Volkswagen 123 on the stage ahead of the BMW and Robbie Gordon's Hummer as the Mitsubishis pushed the cruise control button nice and early. Peter Hansel and Alphon 1 and 2 with Jean-Louis Schlesser make it a Francophile top 3 ahead of Alataya and Miller's Volkswagen. Complicated stage, said Carlos Sainz, certainly in terms of navigation, and starting in front didn't make it any easier, that's for sure. Quite narrow, and you can see that from the consequences on the car. But apart from that, everything was fine, and co-driver Michel did an excellent job. Unfortunately, in the last 50 k's of the stage, I got blocked by my teammate Mark Miller, so we had to slow ourselves down. And I think that's probably why we didn't win the stage. I bet Carlos Sainz last night in the bivouac that I was going to win, and unfortunately he won the bet. But I got no regrets. It was out of my control, I think, today. Remember this stage last year, we had a lot of detours through the bushes, around the villages, and today it started again. And mercifully, we found the right route pretty quickly. But you know, when you get lost, you don't know if you're going to find the next route soon or whether you're going to lose 20 minutes like happened last year. So, hugely stressful day today. Another day in the truck competition and another first. Philippe Jacot in the man claimed his maiden stage victory on the Dakar. The Frenchman finished just ahead of the Czech Ales Lopre's Tatra, and in third spot was the Brazilian André de Azevedo, also in a Tatra. Well, for Jacot, who's steadily been climbing the order after problems earlier in the event, it has got better and better. And likewise for Lepre, he too has got stronger as the event has gone on. And today's stage saw him overturn the position of Wolfert van Ginkel. Lepre's moved up to third day as Van Ginkel lost over half an hour, 23rd on the stage, and is now 4.5 minutes behind. And that's unlikely to change on tomorrow's stage. De Azevedo then, 5th position overall, 3rd on the stage, and of course his brother won in the bike category, and Hans Stacey still leads overall. The Lac Rose is inextricably linked with the Dakar. After the trials and tribulations, the pain and suffering of the past 2 weeks, the survivors will finally have their day of celebration on tomorrow's short final special around the shores of Lac Rose.